What's good, y'all? I already know where y'all at. It's your boy Star Jones, and it's a new episode of Star Views. It's about to start right now. So please, I hope you got your hookah ready, and I hope you got your cups full of whatever ready, because I got a lot to talk about, alright? Know what's going on. Star Jones, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Please and thanks, you heard? What's good, folks? It's your man Star Jones, and we back with another episode of Star Views. Yes, another episode, the first episode of November. I've already blessed you guys with the Star Quick views for the Holiday Fall, but that's over there, and this is here. And tonight we're going to be talking about the latest Marvel installment, MCU installment, the next movie in Phase 4. I think we're in Phase 4, right? And that's the Eternals, starring Salma Hayek, my son Rob Stark. I forget his real name. Rob Stark from Game of Thrones. It's a lot of stars in this film. My son Jon Snow is in it. Rob Stark, as I mentioned. Angelina Jolie, Miss Tomb Raider herself. It's quite a few familiar faces in this film that I'm sure a lot of people at home will recognize. So once I get back, we are going to sit down and talk about what actually transpired in this Eternal film. And then ultimately, already know I'm gonna tell you guys whether or not you should see it. As far as spoilers are concerned, this movie was 2 hours and 37 minutes. But I could say with confidence that I probably won't be ruining anything for you guys, just because I just don't think there's much to ruin. So, yeah. But if I do, as always, I will let you guys know. I will be back in 2 seconds. I'm going to go fix me up a drink so I can sit down and drink with y'all as we talk about this film. So I'll be back in 2 seconds. So we back with that part of the show. We talk about what exactly transpired in the film. The complete overview. Not complete, but give you a little overview for my first time viewers. So let's get right into it. So the opening act of the film is where we see like this Star Wars-esque type opening where, Star Wars, they say in a time long, long ago, in a galaxy far, far away, there was, etc. So it was kind of the same type of feel with the Eternals. They kind of give us this backstory and the origin of the Eternals, how they were created by this super supreme beings known as the Celestials, which look like a bunch of robots, and they manufactured the Eternals. And they say that the Eternals were manufactured, but they lived on this planet called Olympia, way in some other galaxy. They live in Olympia, and pretty much their sole purpose is to protect the human race, or certain races, from the likes of deviants. The deviants is another race of people or species, or I don't really know how to jargon what exactly the deviants are, because they don't look like human beings, but they're obviously a race of something. So their sole purpose is to protect whatever planet's inhabitants and make sure the deviants don't wipe them out. So after that, they pretty much show us, they introduce the entire roster of the Eternals to us, and then we see them on Earth, land on Earth, as early as like, I don't know, 100 BC. This is way before any advanced technology, any modern weapons, any of that. The human beings that was on the planet when we were introduced to them were still fishing with poles, not fishing rods, poles that they carved up. And that's when we were introduced to the first sighting of a deviant, and Icarus came to save the day, as well as the rest of the Eternals. And then we fast forward to present day London, 2000, I believe, in the continuity timeline of the MCU. I think we're in 2024, if my time is correct. I know we're well into the 2020s, but present day London, and that's where we see Cersei and Sprite living amongst us regular human beings, 7,000 years later, versus when they first was introduced. Excuse me. And then we're also introduced to Black Knight's character, who's played by my son Jon Snow from Game of Thrones. And then pretty much like with a whole bunch of wild shit starts to happen, like earthquakes and things that's like unorthodox that shouldn't be happening. And Cersei grows to be suspicious, and she's like, something's not right, of course. And as soon as she says that, while she's out on the town with Sprite and my son Jon Snow, a deviant pops up. And just a FYI, Cersei and Sprite aren't like combative Eternals. They're more so like strategic and have to do certain things to work in their favor. Where you have the other Eternals that are more physical and combative and know how to use their hands. So they're kind of at a disadvantage because this deviant is relatively large in size and is very aggressive, and it has the ability to heal itself. So here comes Icarus, who's played by my son, who played Robb Stark, excuse me, which was one of my favorite characters actually, Richard Madden. He comes zooming in and he kind of saves the day. It wasn't easy, but he saves the day. So that's that. And so now that they know that something's going on, that these deviants are mutating or growing at a rapid rate, and they're doing things that they normally couldn't do before, they knew it was time to rally up the gang and the troops and have a concerted effort together to try to stop these new wave of deviants. And that's when the story unfolds, and that's when we get to see the rest of the Eternals and what they've been doing for the past few centuries. They haven't, because they say in the movie they haven't been together for a few centuries or a couple centuries. So they all have been living their own lives in different parts of the world. So, and again, this is when the true, I guess, adventure begins. And that's pretty much the story. You have a lot of unraveling as the story goes on, as far as what we thought the original plot was, what we thought the Celestials' intent was, what we thought the Eternals' core members' motivations were, you know, who we thought based on the trailers who would be the bad Eternals. Things change in the film, and this is not a spoiler because I didn't tell you exactly who or what, where, why, how. I'm gonna let you guys see it for yourself. So when I come back, we're gonna actually talk about what I'm gonna grade this film, whether or not you guys should see it, the pros and cons, and all that good stuff. So I'll be back in 2 ticks. You already know what it is. Be back. So folks, we back, and we at the best part of the show where I'm gonna tell y'all exactly how I feel about this film. So let's just jump right into it. Let's not waste no time. The movie itself is already 2 hours and 37 minutes. So I'm not gonna make this a super long video. I'm gonna try not to. Pros. I want to shout out, I don't know how to say his name, but my guy that played Kingo, he's one of the Eternals. He was the Bollywood star of the group. He made the movie enjoyable because his banter and his commentary throughout the course of the film, and his assistant, his valet, was very funny. They kept me laughing throughout the course of the film. I think Marvel did a good job. Marvel's usually really good with making jokes in their films. So true, typical MCU fashion, they had me laughing, so that was cool. I also like the different settings that they went to, the different countries that they visited, because the Eternals again was scattered all over the world doing their own thing. So seeing the different parts of the world was, because I like to travel, so seeing different type of places on the big screen with the good cameras and all that stuff. So that was cool to actually see that, and they made it very enticing. It made me want to jump on a flight and fly to certain places. So that was also a good thing. I also like the fact that, and I actually need an explanation. I'm gonna have to do some homework on this. The DCEU references, the DC character references. The little boy in the film called Icarus Superman. And I know there's a whole bunch of copyrights and trademarks and a whole bunch of other legal language on how and why you can't say certain brands or competitors in your film. So the fact that they name dropped Superman was interesting. I thought that was cool. They kind of hinted at Batman. So that also was cool. That was cool to see. Like, I was just like, you know, and the fact that it raised the question, like, how was they able to do this? I don't know, but it was cool to see that. You know, I enjoyed it because I'm a DC fan. I'm a DC fan more than I am a Marvel fan, so it was cool to, you know, have my DC guys get recognition or some type of acknowledgement in a Marvel film. So that was cool. Now, as far as cons are concerned, I mentioned the brightness of the countries and things like that that kind of stood out and made the film enjoyable. I don't know what it was about nighttime scenes, and maybe it's just me, but I got 20/20 vision. I've never had problems with my vision. But at night, like, the nighttime scenes seemed very, very dark versus the daytime scenes where they was very bright. Like, it was bright, it was colorful. You know what I mean? It brought, you know, it brought your eyes. It made your eyes lock in. But at nighttime, it was kind of the nighttime scene was kind of tough on the eyes. As far as clarity. It reminded me of Game of Thrones, one of those last episodes where the dragons fought each other up in the sky and you could barely see the fight because of how dark it was. That's how it felt throughout the nighttime scenes throughout the course of this film, so that bothered me. The total runtime, I normally don't have a problem with a movie that's 2 hours and 37 minutes. A lot of the MCU films are 2 hours plus. And for the most part, they're good. I don't know what's going on with Marvel as of late in Phase 4, but the Eternals was boring. Super boring. Like, this movie was boring. Like, literally, I had to kind of, like, wake up. And that usually doesn't happen because I go into these films with excitement and enthusiasm and, like, my adrenaline be pumping, so I don't have to wake myself up. Like, I was literally guzzling my Coca-Cola, my cherry Coke, because I was like, I'm falling asleep. I need to drink. So I need some caffeine because this is a snooze fest. I'm not going to lie. There was no parts of this film, and I always talk about the wow factor. The oh shit. Like, oh shit. Like, oh shit. Like, I didn't have none of those moments throughout the course of this film. Throughout the 2 hours and 37 minutes, I didn't have not one. Not one. I don't know what's going on with these Phase 4 movies, but they're just not hitting the same as the films of yester phases. Black Widow was underwhelming. Shang-Chi started off good, then fizzled out. And now the Eternals just was a snooze fest throughout. Phase 4, as far as the TV shows are good, you know, we got the WandaVisions, we got the Captain America and Winter Soldier. And Loki. Those 3 shows were amazing, but as far as these movies in this new phase, is just not hitting. I don't know what it is. The story was boring. The plot was cool because then we found out, this might be a mouse spoiler, that the Sentinels, the Celestials had another plan for the Eternals. The Eternals were thinking something one way, and it was supposed to go one way, but in reality it was something else. I'm not going to tell you too much, but that was cool. But it's just the delivery wasn't ill. The final fight, the final battle just was underwhelming. Yeah, just overall this movie was just boring. Do I think it was terrible? No, I don't think Marvel makes terrible movies. I just think that this is definitely one of my least favorite MCU films. I'm just going to keep it a band. Keep it 100. This is one of my least favorite Marvel movies. This would be definitely ranked at the bottom. With that said, I'm probably going to give this movie 5.5 stars. Not 10. 5.5 stars. I definitely like Black Widow better than this. And I didn't love Black Widow. I definitely like Shang-Chi better than this. And I didn't like Shang-Chi. But you would think with all the star power in this film that the movie would have been a lot better, but it just dropped the ball. I'm gonna give it 5.5 stars. I don't know. I don't know. So 5.5 stars. I would say wait till it just come out on TV, but the movie's already made $72 million, $75 million by the time I drop this episode. So worldwide, so people are gonna go see it regardless. Y'all are gonna go to the theaters to see it, but I'm telling you not to. And this might be a first because I've never said not to go see a Marvel movie. Check the facts. Go watch my other Marvel Star Views episodes. I've never said not to go see a Marvel movie. And the reason why I say not to go see, because normally I say for the continuity's sake, just to see it, for fan service, just to see it. But the Eternals really didn't had no impact on the rest of the heroes that we've met. At least in the world, again, the events that we've seen, they really had no effect. Did they do something to save the world? Yeah. But, yeah. Yeah, it's just, don't waste your breath. For real. And I feel like the 5.5 is generous. If it wasn't for the pros of the film that I mentioned, it probably would have got a lower grade. But 5.5. Don't waste your money. If you are watching this and you haven't seen it yet, definitely wait till it comes out on Disney Plus. It'll be on Disney Plus in like 4 months. You know what I'm saying? But with that said, Spider-Man No Way Home is coming out in December. That is going to be the next installment in the MCU, and hopefully, and this is around Christmas time when this drops, so hopefully we could get a nice closing for the MCU this year, because as far as the TV shows are good, they're valid. But as far as the movies, they're letting me down big time. So hopefully Spider-Man can save the day before we get in the year 2022. Alright, but that's my time. I appreciate y'all as always. Star Views, check out. I think I got a couple more episodes coming out this month. I know Ghostbusters is coming out in a couple weeks. Welcome to Raccoon City Resident Evil is coming out in a couple weeks. So I got some more work for y'all for the rest of the month. I got a live trailer just coming out. Live trailer reactions coming out. So Star React. So stay tuned. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good night. Y'all be good. How y'all be good. Oh, y'all still here? Appreciate y'all for sticking around, man. But I don't got no more hookah. But what I do have is more content on my YouTube channel. So please, if you haven't done so already, hit that red button and subscribe. Hit the bell so you get notified as soon as I post anything. Alright? And if you haven't already followed me on social media, here's my information. Make sure y'all follow up. Appreciate it. Y'all still here, man. That's valid. Have a good one.